live. So that means you can map to scenes, clip launches. You can see in this example I'm mapping to all sorts of effects. And you can also, using live, control the range, so, or what the sensor might do. Like in that last song, I was putting my hand through the beam, and it was changing the arpeggiator from, eighths all the way up to 30 seconds. The other thing you can do with it, of course, is map it directly into a VST. In this case, I'm illustrating using an audio cube with Alchemy and morphing the XY pad using two sensors on the cube. You can also do this with hardware synths, by the way, especially if you use, you could use your virtual MIDI ports to pump this data out. Unfortunately, right now you have to have a computer to be the router for a hardware synth, but you can do this with hardware synths as well. And each cube, if it's, can receive color commands. So when I was playing that last song, you saw the cube popping up doing different colors. So I programmed those inside of Ableton Live as dummy clips. And basically the cubes receive on, if you're sending out on a continuous controller 14, 15, 16, that sends RGB commands. So I'll play one more song, and then I'll take a few questions, and then I'll present a little bit more. But let's play into the song now. Hold on a sec, I'll load it up. Everybody see me again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, this song's a little different. I'm playing a lot of notes with this song using this cube to play notes. And then I will be doing some clip launch, and then I'm going to be doing some serious mangling with this sensor cube over here. So this song's called I Can See Them, and it's a perfect creepy Halloween song.
I can see them. I can see them. They're all around us. They're all around us. They're all around us. Don't trust anyone. see them, see them. I can see them. Don't trust anyone. Don't trust anyone.
That was heavy, huh? I would like to see them. In just a second, I'm going to flip back to the slides a minute.
And Mark, we got about 10 minutes. You got that? No, he sees.
10 minutes, right. Can you see my screen again?
No.
Okay, hang on. Are you still getting a video or are you getting nothing right now?
Video.
Video. Tell you what, I'm just going to talk. I don't want to mess with that. So I only have 9 minutes left. I'm going to, basically there's a bunch of other MIDI applications. There's one called Improviser, which you just released, which allows you to do, you can drop cubes in, and it's pretty cool. It has this topology situation where you can drop a cube in, and as you spin it, it changes the function of the cube. You can change patterns and change velocities within these sequences you set up. He's also got, I believe, in a Max API, so if you want to get in there and program against all this stuff with Max, you can do it yourself. There's something called Looper where you can load up your own loops. So I typically recommend people just load it up in their own digital audio workstation and then I typically use MIDI Bridge because it gives me the most control, because what I like about the cubes is I can configure them to do what I want them to do. Let me try this screen sharing one more time because I wanted to show you this shot of something called the 9 box, just so you can kind of get the idea here. Hold on a second.
Careful. I'm not gonna, I'm not, I saw it, I saw it. Yeah, okay. Careful, don't, no. So this guy's with the cubes, camera.
So Skype's acting really funny. It says I'm sharing my screen and I'm not, so I'll share my camera. So let me just tell you the concept behind 9 box. So one of the things is, I always say, when you get an audio cube, it's sort of like handing somebody a guitar with no frets on it, and you hand them the strings, and they've never seen a guitar before in their lives, and you hand it to them and say, make music with it. Cubes are like that. You can configure them to do anything you want. So I created this set of templates called the 9 box, and what it does, why it's called the 9 box, is 3 cubes control a set of 3x3 grid in Ableton Live, so you can use this. The idea was to create a template. You could load it up. If you practice with it a little bit, you can load the template in about 2 minutes, plug the cubes in, and then a player can walk up and control those 9 clips, plus do special effects with an effects cube, thereby creating like a tribal jam system. But it ends up that it works pretty well, so that so much so that we have an install going at a school in Denver. So the kids, about 4th, 5th, and 6th graders are actually using cubes and launching clips and doing special effects and playing in these jams with up to 4 kids per system. But what's really cool about it is because it's live, you can do refills on the fly. So they're out there doing field recordings and recording instruments and building their own 9 boxes so they can create original compositions and fire the clips using the cubes, plus get visual feedback. So that's a pretty cool idea. It's kind of getting 4th, 5th, and 6th graders into electronic music, and also it allows them to talk about science and music as well. So I've also, when people have seen the cubes, they've also thought that a good use case for them would be for like music therapy applications. So basically, I just go out and I perform with them, but I think there's a lot of things you could do with them. And so I probably have about 5 minutes left. Maybe I'll just take some questions.
You can hear us okay?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
first of all, I just walked in the room. Who in the hell are you, dude?
Dude, I'm from the future. I beamed into.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Way too much
SynthFest.
light.
Sorry.
Wow. Whoa.
I guess that's necessary for him to see us, right?
That's what I'm trying to do.
Because
Yeah. So I'm Mosher. I'm from Boulder, Colorado.
you have
And,
three things that I like. Three things, you know. I perform using the launch pads. I actually have 2 cubes sitting on my shelf, which I've never really used because I can never really figure them out.
Yeah.
The most important thing is your skull in the background. That's way cool.
The what's in the back?
The skull.
Oh,
Other side.
yeah. He's lit by an orange cube.
There you go. So with the cubes and stuff, you find the sensitivity to be fairly. Is the sensitivity workable for you? How do you deal with the scaling and the sensitivity issues, which is a problem for me?
So I use them in 2 ways. So you can see in this mode, they have the sensor. Get my finger closer to the camera.
Yeah. Infrared.
So that's 0 to 127 if you use your finger.
When
You can
you're at
calibrate
that closeness, like 3 inches or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So what you do though, when I was playing that last song, you saw that I was palming it, and then I was barely moving my fingers. So it's like anything else. You start to rehearse with them and practice with them, and it's really strange. You start in your mind feeling almost like a bubble, like a pressure that isn't there. And then after you practice with them for many hours, you start to, and then of course you're getting visual feedback as you practice and audio feedback. So I like it. I like that is really small because that means I can palm it and do 4 parameters at the same time.
There's no way to be able to increase it so you can get like a foot range or something like that.
Yes, if you use another cube, you can.
Uh-huh.
So if you see right now, that cube is off. It's not receiving anything. If I take this other cube, look how far away they are.
Right.
So what's happening is this cube is interfering this cube, and it's not only proximity, but it's hammering it with radio waves. And then if you come in at an angle, you can get nonlinear curves. So this isn't in the manual, by the way. So this ends up being really cool. So I've got this new song I'm working on where I'm using my, let me just load it up if we have a second. I'm using like this drum loop, and I'm using my arm in a cube and doing all this proximity stuff. Hold on a sec, I'll load it up.
And Mark, we're queuing up the next set, so this should call us out.
Okay, yeah, I'll close it out just with this idea. And then afterwards, mark@moshermusic.com, email me. Would love to have start interacting with all you guys in the room.
And we'll have them in the corner over in the petting zoo as well, in the big TV.
I also want to point out I use synthesizers more than samples because I can bend them to my will and actually perform with them, as opposed to playing like mostly sample-based stuff. So I'm using a Microtonic, which is a drum sampler, or drum synth, not a drum sampler, and I'm going to morph between 2 radically different sets of drum pads using a cube. Watch. I'm going to use my arm instead, so my arm's going to get really close, and then I'm going to turn on delay from the front from like a foot throw. So the sensitivity, it's like anything, right? It's a limitation, so you take advantage of it when you're palming a cube, and then if you want to get a longer throw, you use another cube to do it. So I think I'm almost out of time. Thanks. I appreciate you guys for having me beam into this. I think it's a really cool idea. I'd like to come up there face to face next time, but this is the next best thing, and Again, markmoshermusic.com or modulatethis.com, drop me an email, and happy to answer any questions about the cubes and anything else.
And I'll set you up in the corner over there just right after this, so people can talk to you as long as you're able to hang out.
Yeah, I have about another half hour. I actually have a show down in Colorado Springs tonight, so if you want to put me out in the corner, I'll Skype me again and when you get it set up, and I can just talk to people on the laptop. So anyway, Mark Mosher, thanks a lot, everybody.